here from Dash Car Productions, and we are in a Subaru Outback 2022 Wilderness trim, and the Wilderness trim is brand new, and this is going to be a really fun experience today. First off, I want to shout out to Daniel and Dockstetter. Thank you guys so much for letting me do a review on this vehicle.
Hi guys, it's Daniel from Dockstetter Subaru again. Thanks for tuning in to Praneet's review of the Outback Wilderness. It's a wonderful new vehicle. I think Subaru's done so much to this vehicle to make it a great off-roader, but also a wonderful family vehicle as well. It still has the comfort of the Outback. I'm sure you'll enjoy your review. If you're interested in a Subaru Outback or any other Subaru, give us a call here. My name is Daniel at Dockstetter Subaru in Vancouver, serving Vancouver and all of BC actually. Happy to help you further. Again, enjoy the review.
Back in this car, let's start off with the exterior. I think this car looks amazing. It looks so good. It looks a lot more rugged, more aggressive than compared to the other models. There are some very specific things on this trim, and there's a lot actually that make this car really unique. It's not just, you know, adding leather, adding navigation, a bigger screen, some better speakers, like most of their trims, right? This one has a bunch of features, so let's get right into it. The front and back bumper have been completely redesigned. The idea is that they're shaved off, they're slimmer, and that is to make the approach and departure angle a lot easier to move, so you have better space. So if you compare it to the normal Outback, these bumpers are actually a little more thinner. If you look at the fenders, they're actually wider. The reason why they're wider is just so it can block the rocks, so the rocks flying up and hitting the paint and scratching at the car. The ground clearance on this vehicle is 9.5 inches. It's about an inch higher than the other trims. And the suspension is completely reworked to accommodate for this off-road, for the off-road capabilities. And interesting, if you see the front bumper, there's this big black paint or sticker on the hood. That's not just for looks. Is that Subaru actually put that for a very specific reason, and that is to prevent glare. So when you're out and trailing or going to logging roads and it's a sunny, bright day, that's gonna help you see better instead of the sun blasting in your eyes. So there's a lot of small features like that that I have to give props to Subaru. Now these are running 17-inch rims. They do come with these specialized all-terrain tires, so they're meant to be off-road, but they're also designed for everyday use. So the idea that Subaru has is that this vehicle is for the buyer that goes, you know, once or twice a month to the off-road or camping, but then most of the time it's an A to B vehicle, you know, taking kids to hockey practice, soccer, volleyball, moving the family around. So that's their target. They're not going after the hardcore, like people, off-road people that are going to lift the vehicle really high. You know, think about the Jeeps, the new Bronco, which are a lot more aggressive. Now this also had skid plates in the front and in the back. So the X-Mode of this vehicle is completely revised. Before there was a limit of 40 kilometers. So once you've gone past 40 kilometers, the X-Mode was shut off. So in this vehicle, there's actually no limit to that. It's always on. But I guess the idea is that you're not thinking about, you know, off-road, on-road, hitting the button, not hitting the button. The computer is modulating all those different parameters. So you can leave it on and drive 100 kilometers if you want to. The system's gonna know, it's gonna understand what you're trying to do. There's two tow hooks in the front and the back. There's really cool copper color. It really brightens up, and it doesn't look tacky at all. Like when you actually look at the vehicle, it goes very well with it. So it looks really, really nice. It's a nice touch, and it's just a cover. Like you pop off and then you can put the tow hook in. So it creates a very nice, clean and slightly unique look to this vehicle. And you got the big roof racks, and also do have the copper trims where you tie it down, so it looks really good. And from afar, from a distance, this thing does look pretty damn aggressive. So the roof can handle 700 pounds of static weight. So basically what that means, if you're going camping, you can set up a tent on top of the roof and it will support the weight. So that's really, really cool. So this vehicle also has fog lights, but they're 6-pot LEDs, so they look really nice when you look at it. Gives it a different unique that I haven't seen in other vehicles. So the price of the vehicle is $44,390. I think that's a really, really good price from Subaru. I think they nailed it. If you think of other brands, I mean, a little more aggressive vehicles that are more specific for off-road, like a Jeep or the new Bronco coming out, you know, they're starting around 44 for like a mid-trim level. So this is the top trim. This is, you get everything in this trim. Also in the vehicle, you get a full spare tire. So if something happens to, you know, going off-road, your tire punctures, you have a full spare one that you can put on instead of those tiny little donut ones. That's probably not going to work very well. Then when you're looking at the seats, they do have a really nice honeycomb design. The idea is, you know, if the seats get dirty, they're easy to clean. On the back seats, when you fold them down, the back layer has this nylon mesh kind of material, and that's the idea. If you know, hauling things around, going camping, things are gonna get dirty, the material is designed to swipe and make it easy instead of absorbing it in like the cloth material. You do have, you know, paddle controls, and on CVT, not a fan. You do have heated seats. You have your Subaru EyeSight, which is fantastic. So lane departure, you know, it's going to warn you if you're approaching, like automatic brakes, your forward collision. So that's all the, you know, bells and whistles when it comes to the features or safety features. The one thing that I love about this vehicle is also the copper trims inside. Some people may not like it, but I think it gives a little pop, something a little unique instead of being all black. And there's just enough of it to kind of keep things exciting. When you step inside the vehicle, the first thing you see is this massive infotainment system. It's just over 11 inches, and it's really nice. It reminds me of a Tesla. It's really big. The buttons are really big and easy to see and easy to press. What I do like is that they kept the volume and the two knobs, and they kept some physical buttons, which I really like. I mean, overall, I'm not a big fan of huge displays. I mean, they look nice and they're super cool what they can do, and especially if they're going to update it, adding new features, kind of like a cell phone, right? But when you start, when you're driving the highway and you miss a button, it's just harder to hit things. So that's the trend of it. But overall, I really like the screen. It's high resolution, the colors pop, it looks very crisp. Now you do have your wireless charging, which is, I think, is super cool. My Samsung S20 Plus fits in it really nicely, so there is tons of room for bigger phones. It's just a nice little, you know, slot you put your phone in, and it's charging. I really like that. That's starting to come in. I wish more cars had that, and the way they implement it is really smooth. It sticks in. It's very well done. So I'm about 6 feet tall, and when I sit in the front, you know, I adjust the seat, and when I sit in the back, you can see how much space there's plenty of space, a lot of leg room, a lot of headroom. I'm very comfortable there. You can lean back a little bit, so it's very comfortable. Actually, the seats in general are really comfortable. These are one of the most comfortable seats I've ever sit in, and there is some really good side support here, and it's surprising for this kind of SUV. And then looking at the trunk, you know, especially the Outback, they have so much space in the Outback. I mean, the design is kind of like a hatchback, but like they just stretched it out and raised it. I think it's a very unique looking vehicle, and Subaru overall, just on the Outback, has absolutely nailed it. They sell tons of these. But as you can see, you know, we open the trunk here and you see Andre chilling there. Okay. Let's try this again with the seats down. So with the seats down, like I kind of mentioned, you have the, you know, back layer covered so you can easily clean it up, and you can see it. Oh, dude, you just living in here? Get out of here. All right, so Andre just randomly was in the vehicle. That's really weird. I don't know how you got here. Let's just go for a quick little test drive, shall we? Let's go. All right, guys, so we finished talking about all the features of this trim. Now it's time to take this thing for a test drive. And as usual, we're going to talk about how the car feels, the driving dynamics of it. Now, I do have a special guest. He's my really good friend, Andre. The reason why he's here, this guy loves going camping, and I don't like camping. I don't do it, so it's good to have his perspective on this vehicle. So let's go ahead and take this thing for a spin. All right, Andre, let's talk about the engine. Tell me about the horsepower, torque, and towing capacity.
So I believe it's got 260 horsepower, around 277 feet of torque, and towing capacity of 3,500.
So is 3,500 like 3,500 Is that good? 3,500 pounds? Is that a lot?
It's actually not bad. I think you could tow at least a boat with it and a tent trailer, let's say, if you wanted to go out to the woods. So it's about the right amount.
About for like a family, I guess.
And you should feel comfortable with that amount of towing capacity going up some hills and stuff.
Okay, so it's good enough.
It should get you to where you want to get to.
So my initial impressions of the vehicle, oh my god, it's comfortable. These seats are so comfortable. The armrest here, it's so soft and plush. It's really comfortable. That's my first impression. What do you think, Andre?
I definitely agree. The fit and finish is really good for Subaru. I haven't seen something like this from Subaru in a while. And yeah, like you're saying, the seats are comfy. I could probably do a road trip with this and be comfortable the whole way. I could probably do at least a good 10 hours in this car.
What do you think of the interior? You were mentioning about the plastic trims.
Yeah,
I mean, there's some soft spots around the armrest, but there's a lot of plastic around it. But
it's still very Subaru, but it's definitely an improvement. Like the addition of some soft touch materials is really nice, and it makes the car a lot more comfortable, I would say.
do you think 260 horsepower is enough?
I think so. Like, considering the 3,500 pounds of towing capacity, I think it's enough. The 260 should get you to where you want to get to.
Okay,
and this isn't a huge vehicle too, so you're not pushing a giant vehicle forward, right?
No, so let's give it some gas, shall we?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, in 3, 2, 1, let's go. 50% throttle. It has good power.
It should do the job.
It's not bad.
This should get you in and out of any places that
Not
you need
bad
to get
at all.
to.
But I will say this. It took like 2-3 seconds for it to like register that I want to go fast. But once it realized I want power, it went to a better gear ratio because this is a CVT, and it did take a second for the turbo to spool. So there's a little bit of delay here.
Yeah, there's always that
let's
lag.
do this again. We're going about 12 kilometers. We're going to do 50% throttle now, and now it takes off. But it's good. You actually get some pushback in the seats, right, Andre?
Yeah, you do get a good response. It is a little lagged, but it's not bad for a CVT.
Yeah, and when you jump in, you're gonna realize like, okay, it takes a second. So if you want to pass someone, you got to be like 1 second ahead. Let's do one more time at like 30 kilometers. I want to pass a vehicle. Let's go. Now it goes.
That's a lot better, yeah.
So yeah, you really got to smash the throttle to let it go. But when it's going, it definitely goes. A little disappointing on how the engine like starts. The initial response, it's low. Now, interestingly, the CVT here is on this specific trim is slightly different. They actually created a different gear ratio to create more torque when you're going lower speeds. And Andre, is that a good thing? Like, is that good for going trails and stuff like that?
It's good for going up trails and stuff, especially if you stop, let's say, halfway up a hill, or you're going up like a rut or something, and you need to sort of go over it slowly. It gives you more control of the vehicle as you're going up and over those whips and those bumps.
And that makes a lot of sense.
Things. Yeah.
Now you do lose some fuel economy. It's about 1 liter less on the city and the highway. That is because of that CVT transmission and these, more off-road or off-terrain tires. They're not as fuel efficient. So you got to keep this in mind. If you want this vehicle, you really want to use it for what it is, not just because it looks, really, really good. The higher lift has a specific look. You don't want to buy this vehicle for that reason. So Andre, you're up.
Oh, here we go.
All right, initial impressions. You're sitting in the driver's seat. What do you think of the infotainment system, the gauges?
The gauges are improvement. They look a little better than what I'm used to seeing from Subaru, actually. Yeah, it's a lot nicer. It's good. I like the infotainment system. This is miles ahead of what I've ever seen from Subaru in the past.
Yeah, it's super nice. Super high resolution, isn't it?
It's good resolution. Yeah, I like that they've only fitted the climate control buttons in the just on the side of the display here for easy access, so you don't have to go rummaging through the display to find that.
And I have to say, yeah, when you're moving, the knobs, the volume, the 2 knobs, you want certain physical buttons to make your life easier, because when you're driving the highway, it's going to be hard to hit certain buttons.
Oh yeah.
And then your eyes are off the road, which is not a good thing.
Oh yeah, it's definitely better for the driver to have that accessibility so easy, especially for climate controls or things people always go looking for.
Okay, Andre, let's just get right to it. 60% throttle right now. Let's go.
Ooh, not bad.
Okay, but do you see what I'm feeling about
There's a lag. There's a lag. Definitely.
Is it noticeable?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can definitely notice. There's about a 1 to 2 second lag there.
Yeah, it is. But how does the power feel? Would you be happy with that?
The power is there. Yeah, I would definitely be happy with this.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. Once it's going, it got tons of power.
Yeah, I would definitely be happy with this.
Okay, how is it handling?
The handling is actually really nice. You can point the car where you want it to. You're not really fighting the car, and it's not really like mushy. So it feels It actually feels good.
Yeah, it feels really direct, doesn't it? Do you find it's a little loose? Like, I mean, not loose, I meant like light.
It is a little bit on the lighter side, yeah. Yes, it definitely is. But that's something you expected. That's something you can expect for a vehicle that needs to not only be good in the city, but also off-road, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's probably a advantage having a lighter steering rack for trailing, right? You don't want something so heavy.
Exactly. Like,
okay, so in front of us, we have gravel road. And Daniel from Docksetter, the salesperson, is allowing us to go on this gravel road and floor it and see how it is on the gravel. So Andre, let's go on the gravel and see how this feels.
You ready?
Yes, and we're gonna try with X mode and not X mode, and we're gonna floor it on the gravel. So let's go on the gravel and let's go. Wow, that goes.
It's got power.
That's tons of power. I don't think it had any traction issues at all.
No, you could feel it sort of calmed itself down to try and compensate for that loss in traction.
Right. Okay, let's try with X mode, which is. Stop for a second.
Where is our X mode? Maybe it's here.
Ah, okay, found it. X mode. We're gonna put that into. So we had a normal, and now we're gonna go on snow and dirt. All right, Andre. So same idea. 50% throttle.
Let's give it a shot.
Let's see how it feels.
Oh, it's definitely more throttly.
So you feel a difference in the throttle?
Oh yeah.
So how did that feel?
Big difference. That's much
like
smoother.
How so?
Much smoother. We didn't bounce around as much in the car.
Yeah, we didn't. It feels a lot smoother, right?
It's a much
Whoa, that does make
response, right?
That is really smooth. It was a lot more linear.
Now it is a little bit more delayed than normal, but wow, that's
I have
weird.
to hold the camera.
That is weird. That's much smoother than normal.
Yeah, that made a big difference. So it really does make a difference. Would you buy this, Andre?
Personally?
Right now, today, in your situation, you have a girlfriend, you have no kids. Would you buy this right now?
That's a tough call. It's a really nice car, but I'm still young at heart, so I still want to have the modifiable vehicle, right?
Fair enough. And I think for me, I actually would buy this. And that's because I don't want to modify vehicles. I want the vehicle as is, out the box, don't want to touch it. Let's go camping. So for me, this is a good buy. I'm thinking I'm married, I have a kid. I don't want to deal with a high suspension or big tires.
Yeah,
I just want to get in and go and be comfortable. And I think the comfort level of this thing is amazing. It's so comfortable. So for me, it's a really good buy. For Andre, maybe in 5 years when you get married. All right, guys, thank you for checking out this video. Really appreciate Andre jumping in this vehicle and showing me his expertise. And we'll catch you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.